problems. Tucker, you're in good shape, aren't you, in this class? Yeah. Yeah. Nor should you be. And when I go through it, you're going to go, oh, I could have done this. So I think I know you pretty well by now. Okay. I've got to put somebody in a breakout room. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Sunshine. Did you text me, Tucker, today? No. Somebody texted me just a few minutes ago, and I'm okay with that. I never, but they don't tell me. So they asked me a question, and I don't know how to answer them, and I don't know who the people are. Okay, now what do I do? All right. Alexis, can you give me a thumbs up? I don't know if she can or not. All right, let me do something here. Give me a second here, folks. I gotta figure out stuff. What did I do? Let me just do something here. A second. I spent some time with my son and his girlfriend. My wife and I did, and we walked. We walked at Quarry Park and at St. John's. I do not know how to do this part. How do I do this? I don't want to do this. I don't know why I can't do that. Hmm. I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I did something wrong here. I think, Alex, Alexis, you have access to the quiz if you want to take it. Okay? I hope you can hear me. All righty. Let me take roll. Oh, I did. Okay. Let me try this again. How come I can't get it back in? Oh, I need some help here. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, that's fine. I just want to get in there and get out.
Okay, so quick breakout room.
Yeah.
Okay, go up. Have you assigned them one yet?
Yeah, I think they're in room 1.
Oh, there you go.
Right here?
Click on that. Okay, then close that out for a second. So click on it again.
If I do this, does that go to her?
I don't know. It's to all rooms.
Yeah, she's the only one in.
Okay. I don't know why it's not letting me join rooms. Has she joined the room yet?
I put her in there.
But has she accepted it? If she hasn't accepted it, that's maybe why you can't join. So otherwise, because usually there's something that says join room right there.
You want to close the door, Grayson? Oh, I hope this works. William, can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you see me?
Yep.
Alrighty. So just to let everybody know, I corrected your quizzes, okay? And for third period, if you submitted them, there was a Schoology was all goofy. For most of you, it came across Schoology, and I have a brand new pen. Okay, that I can actually write and score on your quiz that you submitted, and so you can see it. Okay, and then I put the score in. So I'm going to go over the quizzes tomorrow, but I'm going to go over the pop quiz today. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Alrighty, so let's start that way. And then parent-teacher conferences tonight. I like how you can come in. I don't have to send an invitation to you. Just click on the link. And just to help out your parents or guardians, just make sure you say, hey, I got a folder called in Schoology called Parent-Teacher Conferences folder, and the link is Parent-Teacher Conferences, and it starts at 6 and ends at 8. And there's still some slots available tonight. And then on the 21st, they will be from 4 to 8. And some people have already signed that up. Okay, is that cool with everybody? All right, good. All right, so let's see if I can share. Do you see this lined paper? William, it's not lined? You see any paper now?
It's not lined.
Yeah, it's just white sort of drawing board.
Okay, well then I gotta fix that. All right, let's see. Is that lined?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. All right, so let me go through the pop quiz and I'll tell you how I scored it, and then we'll do some notes. So the reason I gave this is because this is very typical of an AP question. And the AP question starts you out with a basic type of problem and then builds on it. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so right here, you were given this function, this point of tangency. And Caleb, what two things do you need for an equation of a line? And I got the point, don't I? Right? So it's going to be x minus 1 plus 1. And it's the equation of a tangent line, so I have to figure out slope. I come over here. F of x is the same as x to the negative 1 power. So the derivative of that is going to be a negative x to the negative 2 power. So the derivative I can rewrite as a negative 1 over x squared, and I'm going to plug my x as 1. So if I plug in 1, the slope I get is a negative 1. So I have a negative 1 here, and a few of you wrote a negative x plus 2, which was also correct. Now, what's typical in AP, if you got this wrong and got these answers correct, you will not get these correct. Because there's no way, some of you had a positive 1, that would be a graph going in this direction, and there's no way you would come up with the area of this triangle that I pictured. So what is the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept here is 0, 2. What's the x-intercept? Well, all I do is I make y equals 0, and when y is 0, x is 2. So it's 2 comma 2. And so you have the y-axis, you have the x-axis, you have the tangent line, This is 2, this is 2. It's a right triangle. So it's going to be 2 times 2 divided by 2, and I get an area of 2. So this would be the work that I would see. If you got this correct, you got 1/10 of a point. If you got all of this correct, you got a total of 3/10. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Next page, same type of problem, but I changed the point. So in other words, I plug 2 into f of x and I get a 1/2. And it says determine the equation of the tangent line. Well, like Caleb said, let me rewrite that, Caleb. I'm sorry about that. I got a point, x minus 2 plus a half. I have to figure out the slope. The formula for slope is still a -1 over x squared. X is 2, so when I plug in 2, I'm going to get a -1/4. There's another 1/10 of a point. Same type of problem. But now it says, okay, what is the area of that right triangle? Well, I got to come here, and I've got to find the y-intercept, and I have to find the x-intercept because that gives me my base to my height. So I am going to, first of all, to figure out my y-intercept, I'm going to make x equal to 0. So y is going to be a -1/4, 0 minus 2 plus a half. This is going to give me a -2. -2 times a -1/4 is 1/2. So I have 1/2 is 1/2. So y is 1. So this point is 0, 1. Down here, I believe that's correct. I don't think I did that wrong. And down here, to figure out the x-intercept, y is going to be 0. So I have a -1/4 times x minus 2 plus a half, and that's going to give me 0 equals a -1/4 x. Multiply these two, I get a half plus a half. That means 1, -1 equals a -1/4 x. That means x equals 4. So this is 4, or 4 comma 0. So this has a length of 4. This has a length of 1. 1 times 4 divided by 2 is 2. So if you got this correct, you got a 1/10 of a point. If you got all of this and showed your work, you got 3/10 of a point. So part 2 is worth 4/10 of a point. Lastly, I say, okay, now you're at any point on the curve, or what mathematicians call an arbitrary point. The tangent line, the x-axis and y-axis formed that right triangle. What's the area? Well, what did I do over here? I found out the equation of the line to figure out the intercepts. So I have a point. I have x minus a plus 1 over a. The equation of my tangent line. I need my slope. Well, I know my derivative is still a -1 over x squared. And when I plug in a, I'm going to get a -1 over a squared. And the first thing I'm going to do is to figure out the y-intercept. I make x equal to 0. So y is equal to a -1 over a squared times 0 minus a plus 1 over a. That gives me y equals a -1 over a squared times a negative a, and that's a negative a over 1 plus 1 over a, which gives me 1 over a plus 1 over a, which is 2 over a. So that means now this triangle is 2 over a. Now I'm going to figure out what the x-intercept is. Well, that's when y is 0. And so I have a -1 over a squared times x minus a plus 1 over a. When I distribute this, I get -1 over a squared x, and I multiply this, I get plus 1 over a, plus 1 over a. So this is a -2 over a is equal to a -1 over a squared x. I multiply both sides by a -a squared over 1. And I get 2a is equal to x. Now, how do you figure out the area of the triangle? You have base times height divided by 2. The a's simplify. I get 4 divided by 2, and I always get an area of 2. So if you did all of this, and if you came up with this, you got 1/10 of a point. To get the other 4/10 of a point, I had to see this work. So this G was worth 5/10 of a point. So 3/10 of a point plus 4/10 of a point plus 5/10 of a point is 1.2 points of extra credit. We're going to have another chance for extra credit today. Okay. Jordan, any questions about that?
No, sir.
Okay. I was clear.
Yeah.
I'm having issues here with junk. And I'm trying to move this. Okay. All righty. Let's, Abisters, do you have 2.3 notes?
Yes.
You guys don't have 2.3 notes, and you're waiting for your 2.3 notes. Oh, okay. It was just one group of people I totally forgot. Okay. Doesn't make me feel better, but. All righty. Let me get some notes. So before you guys leave, I have the 2.4 notes, which we will have next week. Okay, you got that? So the back of your notes should look like that. Is that right, Bailey?
Yep.
You know what that is, Bailey?
Extra note taking space.
Some people can view it that way. I turned this piece of paper in as assignment as a young child. We were supposed to draw something in art when I was in elementary school, and I handed this in with my name on it. It's a polar bear in a snowstorm. So I ever told you about the time I failed coloring in kindergarten, Bailey?
I don't remember it. I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm in a kindergarten class of 9 people. And the very last day of school, the teacher has us do a coloring assignment. And the winner would get a certificate with a little metal seal on the top of it. And it was signed by our teacher, the principal, and somebody who I believed was the president of the United States. And we all colored. 8 out of 9 students got awards. One little chubby redheaded boy did not, because he was done in 5 minutes, used a black crayon, didn't feel restrained by the boundaries, and colored the entire picture black and handed it in. I think so.
She hadn't joined the room. I think that was the issue.
Okay, well, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I'm telling a story now, but that's okay. And this little boy went home to his dad crying that he didn't get a coloring award. You know what his dad said? He said, "You shouldn't have gotten an award. You don't know how to color." That's the end of my story. Okay. All right, so this is what we should do. We should know for now. So we should know something called the power rule. It says if we have a function that's in the form of some constant a, x is raised to some constant n, its derivative is going to be a times n, x to the n minus 1. This is what we call the power rule. We should know this, that if f is equal to the sine of x, its derivative is the cosine of x. We should know this, that if f of x is equal to the cosine of x, its derivative is the negative sine of x. And the last thing that we should know is if we have a function that's made up of two other functions, and we're adding and subtracting those functions, it's simply the derivative is the sum or difference of those two. Example, Gabe, if I had this, if f of x was 3x squared plus 7x plus 11, which is a parabola, right, of some sort, its derivative is what? Perfect, right? We should know these without having to do the limits. These are the shortcuts. This is what makes life grand in calculus, these rules. Okay, everybody okay with that? All right, flip to the front. So I got to get a list here. Audrey, are you there?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the derivative of h. H is the product of f and g. We're going to learn something called the product rule. We're not going to do the quotient rule today. We're going to do the product rule. We'll do the quotient rule tomorrow. So what is, if f is x cubed, I'm going to put x cubed here, times, and g is x to the fourth. Can you tell me, are you able to combine this, do this, simplify this multiplication for me?
Well, would it be x to the 12th?
It would be x, but it's not x to the 12th.
Yeah, I don't quite remember the rules.
Okay, well, I'll tell you the rules. X to the third, like 2 to the third, means x times x times x. And x to the fourth would be x times x times x times x.
So would it be x to the 7th?
Perfect, 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 perfect. Okay? What is the derivative of x to the 7th?
7x to the 6th.
Perfect, 7x to the 6th. Now, what is the derivative of f, Grayson? Three x to the second. What is the derivative of g? 4x to the third. What is the derivative of f times the derivative of g? It's times. It's 3x to the second times 4x to the third. What's 3 times 4? 12. X to what power? You got x times x times x times x times x. X to the fifth. Are these the same, Grayson? No, they're not, are they? So h prime, the derivative of h, is not equal to, Jordan, do you know what a not equal sign looks like?
Yes.
Yes, it looks like two parallel lines and a transversal, if you remember geometry. Okay, is not equal to the first derivative, is not equal to f prime times g prime. They're not the same. So let's look at the next one. Well, maybe I just picked out wrong things, okay? H of x, William, f is 6x squared, g is 4x cubed. What's their product? What's h going to be?
24x to the fifth.
24x to the fifth. perfect. What is the derivative of 24x to the fifth?
120x to the fourth.
Perfect. 120x to the fourth. What's the derivative of f, William?
12x.
Perfect. 12x. What's the derivative of g, William?
Also 12x.
No.
No, 12x squared. My bad.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We all can make little mistakes. So what do I get when I multiply them, William? 12x times 12x squared.
144x to the third.
Huh? Are these the same?
No.
No. So again, the derivative of h is not the product of the derivatives, is it? The derivative of h, which is created by a product, is not equal, right? Jordan, this is how you make a not equal sign. They're not the same. Jaden, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Tell me how I'm going to compute h of x. F is 3x plus 6, and g is 4x plus 1, and h is the product of f and g. So how do I figure out what h is?
Foil them.
Yeah. Can you do that for me? You mean this, right?
Yeah.
So what do you get when you do that?
Oh, 12x squared
Perfect. Plus,
3x, and
okay?
then 24x, and then 6.
And then you combine the two middle terms?
And yeah,
What else?
27x,
Plus 6? What's the derivative?
24x plus 27 plus 0.
Yeah, do I have to write the 0?
No.
Perfect. You did it perfect. Good job. Bailey Ryder, what's the derivative of f?
3,
Oh, you said that fast. What's the derivative of g?
4,
You said that just as fast. What's f? Derivative of f times the derivative of g.
12.
Are these two the same?
No.
No. So the derivative of h is not equal to, and Jordan, that's how you make a not equal sign. Okay, you know how I used to make it? That used to be the not equal sign back in the 70s. I like this better. Means it's not less than, it's not greater than, it's not, I don't know what I meant. Okay, but I like this better. Not equal to the derivative, right? So you can't do this, can you? You will not get the right answer. There has to be a different method. Next page. So what they're gonna show you a process here, and I'm gonna do this proof tomorrow. I'm not gonna do it today. So if we take a look at the first problem, we had h of x equals x to the third times x to the fourth. And we set our answer, I believe, somebody did, that it's 7x to the sixth. So we're going to follow this process. The process to figure out the derivative says you write down the first. Well, the first is x to the third. The second is x to the fourth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the derivative of x to the fourth and multiply f of x by that. So that's going to be 4x to the third, followed by a plus sign. And then I write down g, which was x to the fourth, and I multiply by the derivative of the first one, which is 3x squared. So what does that give me? It gives me 4x to the sixth, because 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3x to, well, 4 plus 2 is 6. And when I add those together, sure enough, I get 7x to the sixth, which was my answer. So this thing right here is known as the product rule. And what I'm going to do is put 3 asterisks by it, because it's that important. You have to know that rule. So let's take a look at number 1. This thing right here is F. The second one here is G. So I'm going to take the derivative, well, not G, I guess they call this, I'll call it H. Okay, it's the second function. So we're going to take the derivative. And Tucker, you're going to write down F. So I'm going to write down 2x squared plus 3x. And then I'm going to multiply by the derivative of H here. The derivative of the second one. What's the derivative of the second one? Times 4. Plus, now you're going to write down the second one and multiply by the derivative of the first one, which is what? 4x plus 3 in parentheses, right? If, when you guys do this problem for me on a test or a quiz right now, if you get to here, you automatically get 7/10 of a point. Guaranteed. Times. Okay, Tucker, let's distribute this out. 8x to the second plus 12x plus
16x squared negative 8x.
Okay, that's when you combine the inner and the outer.
Yep, minus 15.
Minus 15. So now we can combine like terms, correct? And we get
24x squared plus 4x minus 15.
and you're done. So you get here for the full point. Sophia Rothstein. What's the first thing I'm going to write down on this problem? This is,
Would it be x squared?
yes, times what? Very good.
Times
What's the derivative of cosine?
negative sine x.
Perfect. Plus, now what am I going to write first?
Cosine x
Perfect. Times what?
times x 2x.
2x. Perfect. Very good. So you got 7/10 of a point. Bingo. Excellent. So the derivative, excuse me, I should have wrote derivative sign, my prime. And so your final answer would be a negative x squared sine of x plus 2x cosine of x. You cannot multiply these x's. This is inside the cosine. You cannot multiply these x's. This is inside the cosine. Okay? Can you see that okay, Grayson? Maybe I should choose a different color, purple. All righty. Who's this person right here? Zach Brandenburg. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The derivative of f. What are you going to write down first?
3.
No. You gotta write that function down first. So you're gonna write down 3x, and then you're gonna multiply by the derivative of this function. G is equal to 3x, h is equal to sine of x. Okay, Brandon? So what's the derivative of sine?
Cosine.
Perfect. Plus, what's the next thing I'm going to write?
Would it be 2 sine?
Sine of x, yep. Times the derivative of 3x, which is what?
3.
3, perfect. Plus, what's the derivative of 2 cosine x?
Um is it like sine x plus 2?
Nope, it's not. Why? Well, first of all, what's the derivative of cosine?
Sine.
Derivative of sine is cosine, and derivative of, did you write this stuff down that I gave you before? What's on the back? You have this on the back of your sheet right here?
I was writing down it. I didn't get all of it though.
Okay. So the derivative of cosine is negative sine.
Okay.
Okay. So how do you want to figure out that derivative?
So that would be negative sine x.
What are you gonna do with the 2?
Multiply it.
Yeah. So it's 2 times negative sine x, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to write it, take the derivative of 2? Should I write
No.
sine x times the derivative of 2? Because
I don't think so.
I'd agree with you. I'd agree with you 100%. Why do we agree? What is the derivative of 2?
It would just be 0.
Right. And I would take 0 times cosine, correct?
Yeah.
And what is 0 times cosine?
0.
Right. So when this is a constant, you guys do not need to do the product rule. Is that making sense? Because you'll end up taking the derivative of that constant, which is 0. All right, so let's simplify this. You got 3x cosine x plus 3 sine x minus 2 sine x. Brandon, does that look correct?
Yeah.
Can I simplify that any further?
You can combine 3 sine x and 2 sine x.
Yeah, well, right. So I have 3 sine x, take away 2 sine x. What does that give me?
1 sine x.
Yeah, it's sine x. Perfect. Very good, Brandon. Very, very good. Has everybody got that? I am going to give you a pop quiz. All right? And so, Abyssers, here we go. I'm going to call this the product rule pop quiz. The first one. And what you have to use the product rule. So find h prime of x. And here's the first one. Here's the second one. Here's the third one. And then this one has a little different directions. This says find f prime of x and f prime of c. And f of x is equal to x cubed plus 4x times 3x squared plus 2x minus 5, and c equals 0. So you will have 10 minutes, and you can start. You have 3 minutes left. No, you don't need to submit the quiz. We're gonna go through it, we're gonna correct it in class, and then you'll know how many extra credit points you'll get, and you'll tell me, you'll email me that score, okay? We have about 10 seconds left. All righty, let's see what you have. Randa Berry. What? She's here. Randa Berry, you want to tell me how you started on number 1?
So I started with 3x minus 4
Perfect. Time.
times 3x squared
Awesome. Plus.
plus x to the third plus 5,
Okay. Times
3.
3. So if you got that, you got a 1/10 of a point. Okay, keep going.
And when I did that, it was 9x to the third
Yes.
minus 12x squared,
Plus.
3x to the third,
Plus.
15.
Okay, if you did that, you got a 1/10 of a point. Did you combine any like terms?
Yeah, I combined the 9x to the third and 3x to the third. So it was 12x to the third minus 12x squared plus 15.
Plus 15. If you got the final answer, you got another 1/10 of a point. Okay? So you could have got 3/10 of a point. Very, very good. All righty. Karina Miller, number 2.
Okay.
Anything you
So
did?
I had square root of x.
Okay, let me. Okay. Square root of x
times negative 2x
Okay,
plus
I think it's Wayne, right?
minus x squared.
1 minus x squared,
Yeah.
okay, times,
And then times 1/2 x to the negative 1/2.
perfect. So if somebody had x to the 1/2, I should take that here. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Root of x is fine, but if you put x to the 1/2, okay, very good. So if you got that, you got give yourself a 1/10 of a point. If you combine any terms,
And then I had
multiply.
negative 2x to the 1/2.
I get a negative 2. This is x to the first, right?
Mm-hmm.
X to the 1/2, right? So when I add those exponents, I got 3/2.
Okay.
Okay, plus what?
1/2 x to the negative 1/2.
Okay, anything else?
Minus 1/2 x.
Okay, again, this will be, this is 2 plus a negative
Mhm.
1/2. That's going to be 3/2. So I have
Okay.
minus 1/2 x to the 3/2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you got that, give yourself a 1/10 of a point. Did you stop there or did you, well, you had
I
some,
continued, but I got something else.
okay, so I'm going to keep going. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So a negative 2 minus 1/2 is a negative 5/2 x to the 3/2 plus 1/2 to the x to the 1/2. Do you agree with that? Um, Karina.
Yeah.
Okay. So the common denominator is 2x to the 1/2. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this bottom by x to the 1/2, and I got to multiply this top by x to the 1/2. So over here I'm going to get 1. Down here I'm going to get 2x to the 1/2. And here I'm going to get a negative 5. So what's x to the 3/2 times x to the 1/2, Karina?
X to the second.
You're right, x to the, very good, x to the second. So if you got to here, give yourself a 1/10 of a point.
Kruger, can you move the sheet up a little bit so we can see?
Is that better?
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
Sorry about that. I started getting into the math and forget. It was just a conversation between me and Karina, and I forgot the rest of you guys. Number 3, Gibbs. What do you want me to write down first?
Sorry. I had to go grab my computer charger.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I understand you guys got things to do. I might needed a glass of water or something. So what do you want me to write down here?
Um, is it x to the third times negative sin x?
Okay, go slow for the old guy. That's perfect.
And then plus a cosine of 2x.
Cosine x, correct?
Yeah.
Times the derivative of this. What's the derivative of this?
3x squared.
Perfect. So if you got that, give yourself a 1/10 of a point. And so this could be rewritten as a negative x cubed sine x. Does that look right, Gibbs?
Yeah.
Plus 3x squared cosine x. Does that look good?
Yep.
So give yourself another 1/10 of a point. Very good. Number 4. William. What's f prime of x?
F prime of x, so it's x cubed plus 4x.
Okay, go slow for me. X cubed plus 4x. Okay.
times 6x plus 2
Okay, plus,
plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 5
times what?
times 3x squared plus 4.
Oh my God. So if you got that, give yourself a tenth of a point. Okay, did you multiply that baby through then?
Yep.
Okay, tell me what you get.
Multiply it through, you should get 6x to the fourth plus 2x cubed plus 24x squared plus 8x plus 9x to the fourth
Okay, 9 plus 9x to the fourth
plus 6x cubed
plus 6x cubed
minus 15x squared
15x squared
plus 12x squared
plus 12x squared
plus 8x
plus 8x
minus 20.
minus 20. Wow. And so you
And then
terms, right? So if you're here, you give yourself a tenth of a point. Okay? What'd you get when you bind everything?
yeah, and then combining like terms, you get 15x to the fourth
Okay?
plus 8x cubed plus 21x squared
Okay?
plus 16x minus 20. And then plug 0 into that and you get negative 20.
It's nice that it's 0, don't you think?
Very nice.
So the slope of the tangent line is a negative 20 on that thing. So this is a tenth of a point, and this is a tenth of a point. So if I add all these tenths, 1 had 3, 2 had 3, 3 had 2, so now we're up to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can get 1.2 points extra credit. And I'm going to hold this here. And I'm going to freeze this so everybody's got a chance to see that okay. That's the product rule.
How many points could we get for the last one?
You can get 4, up to 4.
Okay.
You see the last one there okay? I got a tenth over here at the top. Once you multiply it, I mean, when you do the FOIL right here. Here's the product rule right here, and then everything gets multiplied out. Any other questions?
So you just want us to email you our scores?
Yeah, that's the best way. Don't give it to me as through chat because all I do is lose it. So yeah, just email me and just, whatever you got as a score. Okay? That sound good? So tomorrow, gold group, and we'll finish up the notes. It looks like next week there'll be a quiz Thursday. We're going to spend 3 days on the chain rule, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There are also parent-teacher conferences on Wednesday, and I'll be available from 4 to 8. Today, I'm available 6 through 8. So, if we don't have any other questions, the Abyssers, you guys can, it's shining out my window, so hopefully you can enjoy these last few days of fall before the winter comes. Looking forward for snow on Sunday. Giving it a thumbs up.
Mr. Kruger, how many points were possible?
How many what?
How many points were possible?
1.2.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Alrighty. You guys have a pleasant day.
Did you say you don't want a picture of our work or you do?
No, you just send me the.
Okay.
You guys got them on paper or what? Would it be easier just to send me a email? It's up to you. You want to rip the piece of paper, put it over there, you can do that. Which one's the easiest? I think it's easier just to do that. Plus your tire is sitting for how many minutes? There is a